Hey, so I bet you were wondering, it's been almost 2 weeks since you saw me last. It's been a rough maybe two weeks or so, 2.5 weeks. I got sick again! And this time it was the flu, 7 variants in, so I thought I was gonna die. But guess what? I didn't die. Because the whole time I knew that I was waiting for today. February 17th. Do you know what's happening all day besides my freaking get up, which is that freaking Tuesday. Happy Mardi Gras, folks. But it's also a lunar eclipse in Aquarius. It's also a new moon in Aquarius. And it's also the new lunar new year. And I'm super excited because it's the new year of the fire horse, and I'm a fire sign, and let's get on this horse and ride this shit because I want shit to change. And guess what? I'm fortunate enough to want to talk about it today because now I'm 100% better. So let's talk about it. You're here, this is Raquel, and we do one thing. We talk about something great and we make it positive, whatever it is, and we bring good to feel good. And I'm here and I'm finally better. Libation, I've got my candle going, I got my incense flowing. Let's talk about the year of 2026, the fire horse. And I won't go into too much of it, but I really got something great from Natalie, and I just want to be able to share it, and I'll put the links and all that stuff in it. So anyways, I already feel good. Let's get good. Well, I'm back. And we're going to talk about the year of the fire horse. And Natalie McNeil is who shared her information with me. So I'm really glad to be able to share information. I'll put it wherever. Anyway, year of the fire horse is here. And she talks about how horses run toward horizontal lines. And they rarely look back. It's time to set your sights on the future. Horse energy governs movement, expansion, sovereignty, and spiritual power. This year amplifies instinct, risk, freedom, and unapologetic self-direction. Sounds better than this last cycle. And to believe it and believe, okay, first off, last time this actually happened was in 1966. And also there was each time it's happened, I think it's 4 years now. But this is the first time we've had major activity where, and I'm going to get into it, how Neptune and Saturn, our outside planets, are both at Aries at 0 degrees. So, I mean, this is if it ain't potent coffee for me, I don't know what it is for anybody else. But as a fire sign, you just gave me a dose of all kinds of everything. So I woke up today yay! So anyways, it talks about in business, this is the energy of momentum. As long as you're in alignment with your destiny, what isn't in alignment will be burned away. So think of this whole fire aspect as being the cleanse. It's and it's kind of terrible to talk about the fires that happened recently, but ultimately what tends to happen with fire is it's a rebirth. So in the course of that, the destruction leads to something magnificent, something amazing. And sometimes we just have to shift focus to figure out what that is. So you're the fire horse is here. So the other thing, and it just so happens that she talks about it, is creation through destruction. Fire is the element of transformation. It destroys, but only to purify. With so much fire energy this year, stagnation becomes intolerable, and so does illusion. And I am so sick of people talking things, saying things, and not doing things. And I want to be a person that always talks it and walks it. And sometimes it's hard because life happens. You be lifing and stuff stops you from what you're doing. But I think when we're talking about what's happening in politics and when we're talking about in government and what people sometimes do to mislead others is you say some of the things that are just not true. And my whole thing is what happened to being just basic, simple, truth and honesty. I want to get back to that. Just simple shit. Simple, basic stuff. Not asking for a lot. But anyway, this fire will refine the vision and how we see things. So no matter what's going to happen right now, the energies are going to shift to force people who don't want to do this to do it. or the people who are actually witnessing it will now start to question things and force that to happen. So it's almost like it's just an energetic pull that's going to lead us in the right direction, or at least that's what I want to believe. She said, you'll see the burning away of outdated identities and systems, fragile institutions and ideologies, and anything built on optics rather than integrity. Integrity. Can we get integrity back? That's such a great word. Integrity. Makes me want to deep dive, talk about all the things that integrity represents. So again, going back to the fact that Neptune and Saturn are now sitting in Aries on the 20th. So basically this eclipse happened on the 17th. So the 17th to basically about the 20th is where the power, the strength of this is happening. At the same time, come Friday, the 20th, you're going to see Neptune and Saturn align at the Aries line at 0 degrees, which is, I believe it's never happened in the human existence. Like, it goes so way back. And we only know how it goes so way back. It's because back then you had the mathematician ideas. I'm not even going to make sense because scientifically I know it, I understand it, but to speak it, this is my first time trying to speak it, so I just sound really ridiculous. But because we have math and calculations, we can go so far back to determine where this could have possibly happened before. And it's way before we were here. So anyways, it's pretty exciting that now in my lifetime I get to experience. And today it ends a 36-year cycle. So now 36 new cycle is this next cycle, 36 years. So the odds of me living out these 36 is probably slim, but I'm now basically saying I'm starting my life over. Halfway through, I'm starting my life over, and this is going to be so exciting. Like, this is like a new leaf or something. I don't know. Whatever. Join me. But Neptune in Aries represents the spiritual warrior archetype, and it's what we are called to embody over the next 14 years. So this is the actual cycle that Neptune will be in Aries. Neptune in Aries dissolves and savors consciousness and replaces it with self-leadership. The question is not who will save us, it's whether we are willing to become who we have been waiting for. So rather than sitting there going, how come they won't do it? Or how come my husband won't do it? Or my wife won't do it? Or my best friend, she sucks, whatever. We're always so busy wanting to ask why someone can't do something, but how about we just do for ourselves? How do we win? How do we make ourselves happy? And in turn, eventually possibly affect everyone else and maybe be the example to other people could be happy too. Anyway, the highest potential for this transit is that we stop fantasizing about a more beautiful world and we build it. Let's go. Let's build a beautiful world. Through it, we learn what it means for our spirituality and ideals to be practiced, not performed. So actually do what you say you're going to do. Or if you're going to practice something, be 100% about it and see how much it affects your life. So then, of course, we talk about Saturn in Aries. And if Saturn's in Aries, Aries wants to move fast. That's me. I want it now. Like, talk about a microwave. Like, I want it faster than a microwave. But I've also learned over time how it's important to let things marinate. It's better to cook it. It tastes better. It's even better the next day because now the seasonings have sat in, you know, instead of like always having a microwave something. Like, it's just technique. I don't know. Better aged with like a fine wine, whatever. Anyways, so Saturn asks Aries, can you sustain what you started? And how many Aries knows we like to do a whole bunch of shit, and do we finish it all? No. So Saturn in Aries rewards those who can take decisive action and then build the infrastructure to hold it. And I think that's what we're dealing with now, from government to how our country is ran. It's like, you know, if we're gonna change it, let's go ahead and change it if that's what we need to do. Or if it's not working or it's costing us money, well, let's figure it out. But let's build it and let it be sustainable. The collective rage is part of this transition. So interesting enough, all this transit is going to create the environment where we as a people rise up and figure out, what is it do we want? What is it? We hire these people by voting them in. If they're not going to do their job, they got to go, right? Anyways, sorry to get so political, but I feel like that's kind of important because a lot of this is going to really be seen. You're going to start seeing some crazy stuff, and we just got to stay calm and cool and collective and keep moving forward and looking at it as a process. Woo. Anyways, cultural impatience with stagnation transforms into organized reform. I'm going to say that again. Cultural impatience with stagnation transforms into organized reform. People will be less willing to tolerate corruption or passivity. The highest expression of this energy will be channeling the fire into reform that actually lasts. I dig it. I sure hope so. I'm about it. I want to help do it. And she chose to include a sort of aspect where it talks about the feminine power in this era. And she said archetypically, like I can say it, archetypally, or like when you say archetype, right? So female archetype. When Saturn and Neptune move through Aries, they activate agency. When agency meets the feminine, something ancient wakes up. And I keep saying, I'm like, I know I have this like ancient DNA inside me that goes so far back that is present and in my bones that I'm supposed to present in this time frame so that we can use it to grow forward. I don't know why I say that, but I think that's true. I don't know why. The reduction of the feminine into softness is cultural, not archetypical, because the feminine is also the boundary, the blade, the protector, the destroyer. We're like the killers. We come out there and we do stuff. We make things happen. Women are really the ones that are moving more in charge across the globe to make this world a better place, whether people want to recognize it or not. And then you have systems in place that want to keep the women down and in there, wherever they're supposed to be or wherever they think they're supposed to be, instead of saying, hey, how can we work together, male and female, bringing the archetypes together and saying male, female energy and male energy, and make that more powerful. Like, man, when you see a couple, a male and a female, and they got their power structures together, I mean, it's like a flex, right? He has his feminine ways, he might have his masculine ways, and she has her masculine ways and her feminine ways. But when they gel and they mesh to where he can flow at a certain point to be maybe more femme for her, or, feel sensitive and talk to her, but then be the man, grab her hand and be like, girl, let's go. Like, it's a beautiful thing when you see it. Anyway, sidebar. The reduction of the female into the softness cultural, not archetypical. Okay, so we covered that. So what she's also talking about is the highest expression of the feminine in this era is holding boundaries without guilt. Wow, let's say that again. Holding boundaries without guilt. If you don't like them, girl, you don't like them. That's it. Or, yes, I got to take the baby somewhere and they got to do this or that. And maybe I can't be at everything because I got to do this. Like, it's really being compassionate because a woman has to do so much. She has to be mom. She has to be wife. She has to be all these things. I'm none of those right now. So I speak on it because I understand it, because people tell me the struggles, and I'm like, wow, I get it. That's a lot. But also being able to say holding boundaries without guilt, but protecting what we birth and refusing to overextend our life force for anything misaligned. So also being able to create those boundaries and be able to say, you know what, I'm not going to accept that behavior. I'm good. This is not what's going to happen around my kid, or this is not what's going to happen around my family, or whatever it is that requires us to be in our sovereign nature to be able to say, hey, this is just unacceptable behavior. And I know for me, it's like, I'm really learning that. Like, it's okay if that's your vibe and that's what you're about, but you don't have to bring that to me, especially if it's not my thing. You know what I'm saying? Anyways. But I found this really exciting. I wanted to talk about it because all these things were happening all on one day. And I'm like, what? You got an eclipse, which we couldn't see in the US, but it would have been nice to see. It was going to be like this fire ring that's around the sun. It's pretty darn cool. I don't know if there's anything that I'll find that I'll be able to show from somewhere else, but if I do find it, I'll pop it real quick. But, that and the new lunar year, and, knowing that on Friday, Neptune and Saturn are going to be like aligned right on the Aries. Like, if some shit blows up, you guys, it is not because Aries just wants to start war, but sometimes you got to fight. Sometimes you got to create some stuff. But anyway, I'm blabbering. Next up is for me to share an organization or a person that's doing something great that maybe we can support and buy into. I'm going to share that next. Have a good Mardi Gras. Bye.